2020's most severe event in human history is a global pandemic that happens once in every century. It has invaded and created more catastrophes and exposed the flaws in our society. Fortunately, however, there are those who are helping to mitigate the effects of this catastrophe, such as how I'm informing about the disaster while I'm at home to protect myself and others from getting an infection from this virus.
This pandemic, like most, is caused by a zoonotic virus, specifically a member of the coronavirus family. Through scientific evidence so far, it is proven that through natural selection, a bat coronavirus known as RATG13 may have had a spillover or transmission to a human or an intermediate host such as a pangolin. During a spillover, a virus's RNA code that makes its receptor binding protein can mutate through random chance to bind to the receptor of a new cell in its host. When this happens through natural selection, that specific virus can replicate inside of a new host's cell and express its mutations into its offspring, thus increasing the likelihood its offspring can infect and thrive in a new host, since it carries a genetic or RNA code to create the appropriate receptor binding domain to bind to its host's cell receptor. In the case of SARS-2, it is mutated by random chance to bind to the human version of ACE2, which is mostly expressed by endothelial cells in our lungs and other parts of our body. Fortunately for us, however, companies such as Moderna have created mRNA vaccines such as mRNA-1237 that is made up of the RNA code of the SARS-2 receptor binding domain. When injected, this enables immune cells such as macrophages to recreate or transcribe the receptor binding protein of the virus and display it on the surface. This enables the immune cells to create antibodies that can specifically bind to the virus's receptor binding domain. So when a person who has received this vaccination gets infected by SARS-2, the person will have the plasma B cells ready to create the antibodies to bind to the receptor binding protein of SARS-2 to protect them. This method of vaccination has already been used in our farm animals such as cows and pigs to protect them from diseases. Armed with a superficial knowledge of virus binding and the thought about how Moderna mRNA is taking an initiative to create a new type of vaccine, this inspired me to modify a DNA ingredient motif search Python program from an online course called Bioinformatics for Beginners from UC San Diego to create a theoretical competitive peptide inhibitor for the SARS-2 virus and other pathogens. It works by creating a consensus of amino acid sequences of the switch hydrogen receptor and donor amino acids of a pathogen, or in this case SARS-2 receptor binding domain, and the original amino acid sequence of the receptor binds to on your cells, or ACE2, in a one-letter format. This is a concept that is intended to save lives during a future pandemic. Certainly, I need more guidance on this approach in my hit designs from experts. However, this is just a brief concept of one of many examples of how ordinary citizens and scientists like us can contribute to mitigating the impact of this pandemic. And I hope this video inspires you to do the same, as well as in doing their general part in staying at home. And remember to stay safe.